Hello, everybody. Can everybody hear me? So I think everybody is here. Good afternoon. Welcome to my live stream that is going to be all about chocolate and ideas for Valentine's, of course. Love is in the air, as they say. And I will start right away by showing you a little bit the finished product that we are making. It's going to be done with two of the Butterbook recipes. One is the espresso milk chocolate ganache, and the other one is a shortbread cookie. So we're going to start right away by showing you how the cookie is rolled. So we're using these bars, these plastic bars that come in three different thickness. And those bars, when we roll out the dough, they'll ensure that the dough will have the same thickness. And then we cut little cookies, very thin. It's about 3/16 of an inch. And then we're gonna bake them. And I'm gonna show you what it looks like when they're baked. So this is a product that is called a silicone. This is a silicone mat that actually has small holes, and those holes will allow the shortbread to breathe through the silicone, and eventually it will allow it to bake better. The steam will be able to come out. I'm almost ready here. So this is going to be the base for our little cookie with the heart on it, and this is the shortbread cookie, short dough cookie from the Butterbook. Okay, and then now onto the ganache. We are going to make first a coffee with our Nespresso machine, and we're going to infuse the cream with that. And then once this is done, then we're gonna pour it over the chocolate. The chocolate has been melted for about a minute and a half at 50% power. We do this because chocolate does not contain any water, and if you put a product in the microwave that does not contain water at all, and you use 100% power, that product will burn. Okay. So we are going to put this coffee right here in the cream, and we're gonna bring it to a boil. So this is a wonderful induction stove from Spring, USA that we're using. It's wonderful because there's no heat, there's no burning going on. We cannot injure ourselves. I can touch it. It's not dangerous, and we like it. It's very, very practical. So the cream is about to boil, and we're gonna pour it over the chocolate, and we're gonna let it cool a little bit, and then we're gonna add the butter to it. And so this is gonna happen now. Voila. Gonna turn this off, otherwise it will beep non-stop. There you go. So there's a wonderful coffee flavor coming out because of the hot cream. In our recipe, we ask that you measure the temperature of the ganache before you add the butter, because if the butter is added when the ganache is too hot, the butter will actually melt and make the ganache very greasy. If the butter is added to a ganache that is too cold, then the ganache will get grainy because the fat will actually crystallize. Okay, I'm gonna put this here, and then we stir. There you go. Always recommend if you want to make a ganache to have a container that is round, because there's some other containers that are square, and it would be difficult to actually get a nice emulsion going. And then we put the butter in there. Oh, it just jumped out, so that's nice. And then we add it, and then usually we finish it with a hand blender, also called emulsion blender. That will make a very nice and smooth ganache. So this ganache, usually we put it after that in a piping bag. I'm going to show you this right now. And we have those wonderful molds from the same company that makes the seal pat. So those are heart-shaped molds. They're very convenient. Here is the ganache. Put a little clip here so the ganache will not come out. And then we just fill it. See how easy? And after that, all you have to do is just put it in the refrigerator and let it set, okay? A little bit of shaking so it will flatten, and then you put it in the refrigerator, okay? After about a good hour, they will be firm enough to be popped out. If you are running out of time, it's Valentine's, and you have not you have not worked fast enough, you can put them in the freezer, okay? Then I'm going to show you how to finish those. I have a sheet pan ready for you here, thanks to the magic of television. And going to put on some gloves. And I have a whole production of sprinkles here. I also want to show you, I did a little stenciling here while I was getting ready. So here's is the little cookie. And this is what I made this morning, just a piece of paper that I cut. And so it's actually the same size as the ganache, and I'll just dust a little bit of sugar on here because if the entire cookie is covered with sugar, whenever you put the ganache on it, the ganache heart, it will actually slide off, and then it will not work well. There you go. And then you put them in a little dish, okay? And I'm going to show you how to decorate them. And what I try to do is to get ready for this this stream is to get simple recipes. So it's just 2 recipes, and to see what we can do with those recipes to make things work. So here's my ganache heart. Put a little bit of water. You could also use melted chocolate, but if a little bit of water works, why not? And then we're going to take a toothpick. We stab this, and then you just press it into any kind of glitter that you find. There you go. Now you stab the top. Voila, I'm going to make another one with another, or maybe both glitters, so there's no fighting, right? And you could make colored sugar. This is a colored red sugar from Chef Rubber. They have them in all kinds of different colors. You can use sprinkles, whatever works for you. There you go. And then here we just put a little bit of sprinkle just to cover this little hole right here. And you're ready for Valentine's. So you can see the different sprinkles that we used. Each one will give you a different look. And then after that, I recommend that this product that you don't refrigerate it, just keep it in a cool place. If you keep it in a cool place, what will happen? The ganache will get nice and soft, and also the sprinkles will not get wet, because if you put them in the refrigerator, they might sweat, and actually sometimes there's some water coming out, and because of the condensation. So just keep them in a cool place. They're perfectly fine this way. So this is my my little demonstration, and now I'm ready for questions. If you have questions, I'm gonna make myself an espresso. It's been a long day. So we have a first question. What temperature should the ganache be when you add the butter? It's a very, very good question. You need to refer to the recipe. I'm gonna jump out, and the recipe can be easily printed, and then we have it actually, oops, I'm gonna make myself another coffee. So the optimal temperature should be 100 to 104 Fahrenheit, or 38 or 40 Celsius. Gonna make myself another coffee. This one, the cup was not exactly where I want it to be. There you go. So to answer the question, the temperature of the ganache should be between 100 degrees and 104 Fahrenheit, or 38 to 40 Celsius. Okay, I hope this answers the question. Where can we find the recipe you just shared? It's very easy. You just hop on thebutterbook.com, and there's a 10-day free trial, and you can check out all the recipes. There's more than 200 recipes of all kinds of topics: bread baking, cake decorating, quick breads, yeasted breads, and all kinds of desserts, chocolate mousse, and we just released a velvet cake. So all kinds of recipes, but all in pastry, baking, and cake decorating. Okay? What is the difference between short dough and sweet dough? So short dough usually contains more butter, and it also is made with egg yolk. And this egg yolk contains a natural emulsifier called lecithin. Okay, so making a shortbread with that, and then more butter than usual, will give you a very, very flaky dough. Okay, and flaky cookie that is crumbling very nicely. Okay, it falls apart very nicely. It will go very well with my coffee. And the sweet dough is a dough that is a little firmer. We usually use it for like fruit tart and tarts with like fruit fillings that need to be controlled. If that dough is too fragile, the filling, the wet filling, will go right through it. So a sweet dough is usually made with a bit less butter, but it's mainly made with whole eggs. So when you bring in the egg white from the egg, that's gonna make a dough that is firmer, okay? And both of these dough may or may not contain nut powder for flavor, but you can omit it and then and then replace it with more flour. So I hope this answered the question. We go on to the next question. How can you tell the quality of chocolate? We already did that. All right, do you have any tips for tempering chocolate in a home kitchen? Absolutely. I have a bowl right here that I'm going to use to show you. And the best way to do this is to put this in, I'm just going to mimic it, but to show you that it's actually very, very simple. So you are going to take this chocolate and you're going to put it in a microwave at 50% power for about 2 minutes, okay? After 2 minutes, you're going to stir, and you need to stir for about 60 seconds. That will even out all the different temperatures in there, because you'll have some coins that are not completely melted. Some of them are melted. So 60 seconds of stirring with a spatula, not with a whisk, and then you'll have one even temperature. Usually after 2 minutes, you still have some lumps, okay? And then what you do after that, maybe you put another 15 to 20 seconds of time in the microwave at 50% power, and then stir again for 60 seconds. And then after that, you should have a chocolate that is almost completely melted with still a couple pieces of coins that are not melted. And then what you do, you take a piece of paper like such, and you dip it in the chocolate, scrape it off, and you put it not in the refrigerator. You put it just on the work surface, and you just let it be. Okay. I always see people, they're like shaking it, or they're doing this or that. Let it be, and then if in about a minute and a half, you see signs of the chocolate setting up on the edge, it means the chocolate is what we call tempered. That means it is still under 90 Fahrenheit, okay? And then it's ready to be used, okay? If you see there's still a couple coins that are in there that are not melted, it's okay, okay? Because if you wanna melt them, you take the risk of overheating the chocolate and getting it over the 90-degree temperature, and then it will not set for an hour or so because the cocoa butter has separated from the rest of the ingredients. And then you would have to add more coins to cool it down again. So to resume, melt the chocolate, 2 minutes, 50% power, stir for 60 seconds, check how much melted chocolate you have, add another 15, 20 seconds or so at 50% power, stir for 60 seconds, and do the paper test. Okay, this is the best way of tempering chocolate, because if it sets on the paper within a minute and a half or so, or if it even just starts to set, you're ready to go. You can dip anything in that chocolate. Obviously, you have to be in a temperature in a room that is cool enough. I want to say not hotter than 75, 78 Fahrenheit. Otherwise, if you work in a 90-degree kitchen, the chocolate will not set. Okay, it's just common sense. Okay, let's go to the next question. What brand of chocolate do we prefer? We prefer Guitar because it's a very high quality chocolate and that is very user friendly. We have the entire range from white chocolate to dark chocolate to milk chocolate, and our students are the best test, because if 20 students in a classroom can use a product without any problems, that means it's user friendly, which is very important part of chocolate, of the chocolate product. If it's user friendly, everybody can make the recipe successfully. Okay. Any suggestions for chocolate and fruit pairing? Great question, because you cannot just do whatever you want, okay? You need to realize that dark chocolates are very acidic, okay? The cocoa bean in itself is acidic. Usually, and that acidity is usually in the cocoa solid and in the cocoa butter. And usually they are deodorized in the manufacturing process, but it's still acidic, okay? Now, if you have an acidic dark chocolate and you mix it with passion fruit or lemon, you have acid plus acid. Those two are just going to fight flavor-wise in your mouth, and it's just not going to work. So the more acidic the chocolate, the sweeter the fruit. On the other hand, we have milk chocolate, which is always going to be sweeter because it has less cocoa content. So guess what? This is a great candidate if you make a passion fruit or lemon ganache with this recipe. That's why coffee is very acidic, especially strong like this, which is very flavorful. But this goes really well with milk chocolate. That's why it's like this in the recipe, okay? And then same thing with white chocolate. White chocolate is very sweet by nature, so you can go ahead and just put a very acidic ingredients, lime, lemon, passion fruit, and so on. What if you overheat my chocolate? Can it be saved? So if you forget to melt your chocolate at 50% power, or let's say you're on a double boiler and you just let it get so hot that it's getting thick over the double boiler, or in the microwave, if you use 100% power, it will completely burn. Microwaves work on the water droplets in food ingredient. Remember, chocolate does not contain water. So the microwave will go to the next best thing, which is the fat in the chocolate, and it can burn it very quickly. If it's burned, you need to throw it out. Sorry, it's just not salvageable. It's one of those things. I wish I could tell you you could do something with it, but better not. Okay, just don't burn it. Any suggestions to use with coffee and espresso? As I mentioned, it goes because coffee is very strong. Actually, good coffee should be strong, not bitter. Good coffee should never be bitter. Okay, it should just have a strong coffee flavor. And then we say we associate it with round flavors. A round flavor could be vanilla, could be milk chocolate, could be something with a lot of cream, like a custard, things like this that often use vanilla. So you don't want to associate coffee with something very acidic, because it would just be the two same flavors together. And in your mouth, when you eat something, your brain likes to detect all the different flavors, all the sweet, the sour, the salty, the bitter, and so on, okay? So I hope that answers the question. What type of chocolate themed recipe does the Butter Book offer? We have all kinds of recipes. We have a chocolate souffle. We have a molten lava cake. We have chocolate croissant. I mean, that would be the best croissant ever for Valentine's Day morning, right? It would require a little bit of work, but hello. Truffles, chocolate truffles, are just wonderful. They can be made in advance. This recipe can be rolled into truffle. It's actually the original recipe that are made, and then you can put them in a box, and you can be ahead of the game and have those ready beforehand. And there's also a chocolate and cinnamon shortbread cookie that we have that is just wonderful. So we're adding a new recipe every single week. So there's always exciting new additions to the Butter Book. What are the best chocolates to use in chocolate chip cookies? Well, for chocolate chip cookies, you want to You want a chocolate that that melts nicely, but not too much. So this is 61%. It works really well. If the coins, sorry, I'm using the wrong bag. If the coins are too large, they don't bother me because they will. When I eat a cookie, there's gonna be a lot of good chocolate flavor in one shot. But if they're too large for you, just cut them, just chop them a little bit, and it go really well for this recipe. What's the benefit of using a silicone mat? Well, we have two silicone mats. We have three silicone mats. We have this mat right here. That's very convenient to roll dough because we talk to our students all day long and they have difficulty rolling dough because the dough sticks to the counter, to the table you're working on, or they stick to the rolling pin. So silicone mat will help you with that, because if the dough gets too soft, you just take the entire production on a sheet tray like this and you put this in the refrigerator, in the freezer. And once it's cold again, you can roll it again. Okay, so that's one silicone product. But then, as I mentioned, this one, I don't know if you can see this, Jeff, if you can see right through this. It's full of small holes, and for certain recipes like this cookie, it will allow the heat to go right through those holes and cook this bake this cookie perfectly. So you see on both sides, it's perfectly baked. So it's very, very convenient. This is called a seal pain. It's your French lesson for the day. Seal pain, P-A-I-N. And then the same company is making molds like this. And we have developed a few recipes around this mold. One is a savory recipe with some smoked salmon and on a small cracker. So what's great with them, you can use them as a mold. You can pipe things in there and pop them out, but you can also bake in here. You can bake a little chocolate, let's say a pound cake recipe. You just pipe it in there, bake it, and you have little, very cute little heart-shaped cookies. So you can bake in it, you can use it as a mold, and you can throw it in the dishwasher. It will not be affected, okay? When making a ganache, what would you do if not all the chocolate melts when the hot cream is added? Okay, great question. I melted the chocolate about halfway when I added my cream. And then sometimes it's not melted enough. And by the time I add the cream and I'm ready to add the butter, there's still some coins of chocolate in there. So you can very easily take the heavy cream and chocolate and put it in a microwave for 10, 15 seconds at 50% power and give it this little extra heat that it's needed for that ganache to melt. And then remember, take the temperature of the ganache before adding the butter, okay? If I want to avoid sweetness, should I use dark chocolate or do you recommend any other chocolate? Yes, obviously, if you want recipes to be less sweet, you go for the chocolate that is the highest in cocoa content. This one is 61%, but you can go all the way to 80% or even 100%, which is called cocoa paste or unsweetened chocolate. And you can add this in your recipes if you wanna have less sugar in your recipe. And if you add, obviously, if you use 100% cocoa chocolate, you would not need to put as much. Okay, so I hope this answers the question. Can I produce macarons in the hard mold? No, that's not how it works. For the people who make macarons, macarons are usually piped on a seal pad like this. And instead of using a mold like this, you cannot bake a macaron in this mold. It doesn't work. But what you would do here, you would just pipe the heart shape with the macaron batter on this seal pad. And then you would bake it like this and it will retain its shape, okay? But don't try to use one of those heart-shaped mold? It's a very good question, actually. No more questions? All right, I guess we're out of questions. And if you have any other questions, you can always hop on the butterbook.com, and then there's a Zendesk there that where you can ask what's on your mind regarding pastries, recipes, bread, Valentine's, everything that you're curious about in baking. Okay. In the meantime, I wish you a great Valentine's Day. I hope you are making some great recipe. Share the recipes with us. Send us photos. We would love to post them for you. And I'll tell you next time until we have another live stream and more questions to answer.